Hello everyone, this is Roy from WICAP. I'm here to give you a training on the standards of conduct. The purpose of this training is for the individuals that were not able to be present on January 15th, 2021. This is a way that you are able to participate and understand maybe what was given during that time of the event. We did have Heidi who assisted me reviewing the policy. I also had Katrina Vincent, who is our HR director, and she went over a few items that she wanted to talk about, which is, I believe, the recognition of employees and employee morale. She's been sending out emails to everyone regarding what her purpose was when she spoke on the event on January 15th, 2021. We did try to do an attempt to do a recording for that event. Unfortunately, Ring Central, we did not know until we actually tried, was that it was an extra feature that we had to pay on, and we didn't pay on it, and so that's why the recording didn't come through so quickly, because we didn't have the right to record. We also tried to do a voice recording at the time, and unfortunately, that wasn't able to happen either. So this is my best attempt to try to do a training on the event that was missed for the standards of conduct for the individuals that weren't able to be a part of it. The purpose of this policy reads like this. WICAP expects all persons involved in the organization to act in a professional and responsible way at all times. This means all people are to be treated with respect, courtesy, and dignity at all times. Some of the more obvious unacceptable activities are noted below. However, this list is not all-inclusive, and other inappropriate conduct may result in disciplinary action. Staff must adhere to standards of conduct, which includes that no child is left alone or unsupervised, and to follow reporting systems. The procedure of this policy. And this policy is located in your employee handbook. It's also in our website. If you click on policies in our staff resources page, you'll be able to click on another link that once you click into policies, it'll be called personnel policies and procedures. Click on that, and that'll be the area where you can review the standards of conduct. The procedure for this policy is all persons involved in WICAP must abide by these standards of conduct. Contact the supervisor and/or the human resource director with any questions concerning any standard of conduct or the unacceptable activities listed. Respect and promote the unique identity of each child and family and refrain from stereotyping on the basis of gender, race, ethnicity, culture, religion, incarceration, housing, or disabilities. Abide by all WICAP contract, grant, state, and federal required reporting procedures. What I just read right now was the procedure for the policy. What I'm going to now read is the unacceptable activities. Before I read them, I do want you to understand that there are going to be extra things that I read out loud, and I'll let you know it's to almost paraphrase or to give another attempt on trying to let you understand what that policy or what that unacceptable activity is. And so if you're thinking, oh, I don't see, if you have the handout or you have the policy in front of you, you're going to see that maybe some of the things that I'm reading aren't there. I just want you to know they're not there because I did my own notes on a training guide to remind myself to speak to you all about these points. So unacceptable activities. Unacceptable activities include, but are not limited to, the following. Violation of any organization policy. Any action that WICAP deems detrimental to efforts to meet its mission, vision, and values. This is my own writing now. Remember to portray a positive and professional image. Understand violations and avoid the unacceptable activities. Negligence or any careless action which endangers the life or safety of another person. My own words. Be alert and understand your duties and responsibilities. Your safety and the safety of others is of high importance, always. Treating any person with disrespect or discourtesy. Remember, these are my words. Remember to be respectful. Remember the golden rule that you'd want to be treated, or you want to treat others the way you like to be treated. Or I might have said that a little backwards. Treat others the way you like to be treated. Number 4, being under the influence of a controlled substance or alcohol while at work. Accept medications prescribed by a physician which does not impair work performance. Use, possession, or sale of a controlled substance in any quantity while on organization premises. These are my words. Remember, we are a drug-free workplace. You may always contact HR if you need us to document the medications that are prescribed to you that would not impair you during working hours. Number 5, unauthorized possession of firearms, weapons, or explosives in the workplace or while on duty. Heidi was the one who went over this one with you all. The way I understood it is that we stand by this direction on this policy. Unauthorized possession of firearms, weapons, or explosive in the workplace or while on duty are unacceptable. Do not bring any of the arms into the location. I do understand if you do have the proper training and also the proper certification, you are able to abide by those regulations that you have from the training. So if you do have something of like a I can't think of the name right now, but you have a certification that allows you to have an arm in your vehicle, locked or unconcealed, I can't say the word right now. But if you have something like that, it has to be remained in your vehicle. It can never be brought in. If I'm not saying it directly to a clarification for you, and if you have questions on this one, if you're an individual that you do have a permit and you want to make sure that you are able to bring that arm in our property, like in the parking lot or anything like that, and just have it remain in your vehicle, I suggest that you reach out to Heidi to make sure that you get that approved by her, or you can reach out to your supervisor and try to get the approval by them. And if I'm incorrect, please reach out to Heidi to get that clarification. Engaging in criminal conduct or acts of violence or making threats of violence toward anyone on WICAP premises or when representing the organization. Disorderly conduct, fighting, or provoking of a fight on organization property. These are my words. Absolutely no violence. Please report it immediately if this occurs. And report it to the right individuals, whether that's your supervisor, law enforcement, etc. Number 7, insubordination or refusing to obey instructions issued by your supervisor pertaining to job responsibilities and performance. In my words, supervisor's direct order is not followed. This is what it's trying to get you to understand. Now, if your supervisor is giving you information that doesn't seem ethical or doesn't seem reasonable, by all means, please report it. If you need to report it to HR, if you need to report it to not your supervisor but their supervisor, or your supervisor's supervisor, please do so. If you need anything of clarification, please reach out to HR or reach out to the department director for guidance. Threatening, intimidating, or coercing fellow employees at any time for any purpose. Absolutely no bullying, no harassment, no degrading. Treat people with respect. Engaging in an act of sabotage, negligently causing the destruction or damage of organization property. This was also another one that was highlighted with Heidi. She reviewed it. She spoke on it. The way I understand it is if you're purposely trying to do something to sabotage someone, that is not acceptable. Anything in that kind of act will have disciplinary action up to possibly a recommendation of termination. Negligently causing the destruction or damage of organization property, not acceptable at all too. We should never try to purposely try to damage anything. If we see anything damaged, please report it. We have the safety of the children, we have the safety of our staff that we have to look into. And so if I didn't clarify that one to a point where you need more clarification, please reach out to Heidi, just like the previous one that Heidi had spoke to, which was unauthorized possession of firearms and weapons and explosives in the workplace or while on duty. Theft or unauthorized possession of organization property or the property of fellow employees. Removal of any organization property, including documents, from the premises without prior permission from management. Unauthorized use of WICAP equipment or property for personal reasons. Using organization equipment for profit. Absolutely no stealing. Do not take what isn't yours. Ask your supervisor/management for permission when taking WICAP property out of work. Make sure that someone of management or your supervisor or even the department director allows it to happen. I want to say if you have any questions, but unfortunately that's why I'm pausing a lot. This is a little bit new for me with the recording as well. If you do have questions, please reach out to me. Please send me an email, and I'll do my best to try to help you with those questions. Next on our list is dishonesty, falsification, misrepresentation, or material omission on your application for employment or other work records. Lying about medical or personal leave, falsifying reason for a leave of absence, or other documents requested by the organization. Alteration of organization records or other organization documents. This is, for example, lying on your employment application. Absolutely not acceptable. Falsifying documentation, falsifying requested leave. In the training that was given on January 15th, we went into a little bit more of an idea that if it comes to a point where you feel like you have to falsify a document, please bring it to your supervisor's attention or to someone's attention, because we all make errors. Everyone will in some sort of way make an error. The appropriate thing is to address it and understand accountability for that error. We can correct it. We can work through it. Now, if you feel like falsifying a document is the way to correct it, I am telling you now that's not the way. You steer away from that direction. Please bring it to someone's attention. If you miss something, accidents happen. We will try to correct it a different way. That's ethical. That's appropriate. So I believe that's what was talked about a little bit when that training was given on January 15th. If you have any other questions on that policy or on that unacceptable activity, please send me an email. I just want you to know there are many instances that people do go through something like this where they have to think that they have to falsify a document because they forgot to do an account or a tally, or they needed to do something and they didn't do it, maybe a sign-in sheet or so forth. Please just let us know, or let your supervisor know or management know that unfortunately I wasn't able to get the required signatures that I needed to get. And I would tell you, do it sooner than later. That way you could correct maybe the errors a little faster, for if you just hold on to it. So I hope that makes sense. I hope this was able to help you understand that unacceptable activity. Violating confidentiality policy, giving confidential or proprietary information of WICAP to competitors or other organizations or individuals, or to unauthorized organization employees, working for a competing business while an organization employee, breach of confidentiality or personnel information. This was one that Heidi spoke on. We just have to remember that follow the conflict of interest. Be appropriate when it comes to talking about our agency, especially to competing agencies. This is where you can look at common sense as well. your intuition will let you know if you're doing something incorrect, especially with the confidentiality of the organization. Just remember, it's a need to know basis, and we want to continue to represent the company in a very positive image. And if you're talking poorly to our competitors or to individuals that are associated with the organization, that is something frowned upon and it's a violation of our standard of conduct. If I'm not able to speak too much on that one, or if you wanted more clarification on a specific thing, please reach out to me or reach out to Heidi Caldwell, and she'd be happy to help. We both would be happy to help. Next is unsatisfactory or careless work. These are my words. Not taking your job duties seriously and responsibilities are not being effective. You're seeing that you're doing poor performance and you're not being careful. I think that one's self-explanatory. If you have any questions, again, you can send me an email and we can go into a different approach. If you want a specific scenario, we can go into a scenario and see what the outcome could possibly be. Any act of harassment, sexual or racial, telling sexist or racist jokes, making racial or ethnic slurs is inappropriate. So no discrimination. These are my words. No discrimination. Remember that we must portray WICAP with a positive and professional image at all times. We do have a bullying policy that you can reference as well. Just remember, in all areas, you have to be treated with respect. And so if your supervisor is not respecting you, if a colleague of management isn't respecting you, directors or anything, we all need to respect each other. It doesn't matter about the hierarchy or that they're in a position that they can actually do that to me. No, it's not acceptable at all. And it should be reported. It should be addressed. I think this could help you understand too that if you see you're being someone that's being victimized or being bullied, it could possibly prevent others that might in the future be bullied. And so, and the individual that's possibly doing it might not even see it. And so we do have to report those incidents and go from there. And if you ever need to speak to anyone on it, you can always reach out to the HR department. Leaving work before the end of a workday or not being ready to work at the start of a workday without approval of your supervisor, stopping work before time specified for such purposes. So that's unacceptable. The next items are in my own words. Remember to be prepared, be effective, to communicate with your supervisor about your schedule. We have many positions that are really relying on that individual in their position to make sure that they're on time. And so, for example, if like you are a bus driver and you're waiting for a teacher assistant to arrive so you can go on your route, and she's arriving maybe 10 to 15 minutes late or so forth, etc., that really holds back your duties. And so it is our responsibility to make sure that we're accountable for the expectations of our position. And so if a teacher assistant needs to be at work at this certain time, it is our expectation that you're at work at that certain time. That goes with many other positions as well too, not just Head Start. So I just wanted you to understand that it is important for us to understand that we should always be prepared to be effective. We need accountability as well too. Always do the communication. If you're running late, communicate it if you can. If there's something that you see ahead of occurring ahead of time, please be courteous and give that respect to your supervisor or give it to the team that needs it. Sleeping or loitering during working hours, excluding break and lunch periods. Sleeping is not acceptable. Loitering is not acceptable. Stay busy, be effective, do your expectations. If the children are sleeping, like say in Head Start or in another program, if they're sleeping, you don't be falling asleep with them as well too. We're there to make sure that the children are safe. We're there to help the team out, and so we need to just make sure that we understand that no sleeping, no loitering is taking place during company time, during work hours. And it does say excluding breaks and lunch periods as well too. So if you do need to take a quick snooze, or you do need to uh, do a little bit of walking around, this is the only time to do it is during your break and lunch periods. Excessive use of WICAP telephone and or time spent on personal calls. This is very self-explanatory. And be courteous on how you use your telephone usage during company time. Be respectful. And excessive use of WICAP telephone and or time spent on personal calls is unacceptable. So your supervisor does have the right to let you know that that if it's being an issue or a concern, or if it's feels like you're taking advantage of something of your on your personal calls, then they're going to address it. And so you just need to understand it is in our policy as well. That any excessive use is not acceptable. Creating or contributing to unsanitary conditions. This was one that Heidi read to everyone, and she discussed on it. Remember, we need to portray a positive image as well, and so we want to make sure that that we're sanitizing everything correctly. That if we're using the restrooms, we're cleaning after ourselves. We want to make sure that that we're following sanitation requirements. And so if you need clarification with that, please bring it to your supervisor, or you can reach out to Heidi Caldwell. She can maybe give a different explanation if you need any more clarification on that. Failure to report an absence or late arrival. Excessive absence or lateness. These are my words. Communication to supervisor colleagues is key in trying to avoid this violation. We should do our best to try to communicate if possible. If you're running late, please communicate. We do have individuals that can help. We would like to be well informed so we can plan out on what to do next. And so that goes for Head Start, that goes for CSBG, that goes for all programs. Yep, that's it there. Obscene or abusive language toward any person, any disorderly, antagonistic conduct or on organization premises. So we don't talk poorly about people. We don't use abusive language. We respect individuals. We are courteous. We portray a respectful workplace. So obscene and abusive language is not appropriate at any times. Failure to immediately report damage to or an accident involving organization equipment. These are my words. Follow protocol. Communicate immediately to the appropriate individual. Make sure you know your surrounding environment. If something were to happen, if an accident were to happen, immediately report it. Follow the protocol that you're shown or taught to do if anything like this arises. If you ever need any more clarification on something like this, please reach out to myself or to Katrina Vincent, and we can help you. Especially if you're at the moment don't know what the protocol is. I know if you are in an accident with one of our company vehicles, there's in our books there's individual steps that you can take to tell you what to do next. So if you need clarification, we can help you get that clarification. Next is leaving the premises during working hours without supervisor's knowledge or permission. These are my words. Communicate and receive approval. All our duties and jobs are important at WICAP. Remember to be responsible and courteous. So leaving the premises during working hours without supervisor's knowledge or permission is unacceptable. Please let your staff know, or your supervisor know, or your team know where you're going to be, if it's appropriate for them to even know, or if it's something that wouldn't even go to your team, let your supervisor know, and communicate that with them. Leaving the premises during working hours without supervisor's knowledge or permission, remember, is unacceptable. Leaving a child alone or unsupervised while under the program's care. Absolutely avoid this violation. Always know where the children are. Always know your surrounding environment. Keep the children safe. Number 23, 24, and 25, Heidi Caldwell and Mary Gothier did actually a really good presentation on those three. There was a few other ones that Mary did like me to elaborate on. I think one was the sleeping and the loitering, just reminding teachers that don't fall asleep with the children during that time, or whatever, during class time. Remember, we have to stay up. We have to keep doing our job. No sleeping is acceptable during working hours. And number 23 and 24 and 25, they all really spoke on the importance of protecting the child, protecting the staff, knowing the surrounding environment very well. Remember to count. Remember your active supervision. Remember just how important it is to do an effective job, and to know your surrounding environment. And so, leaving a child alone or unsupervised while under the program's care, this one is one of the absolute unacceptable activities that we should try to always avoid, or that we need to always avoid. Failing to use positive methods of child guidance and engaging in corporal punishment, emotional or physical abuse, or public or private humiliation, rejection, terrorizing, extended ignoring, or corruption of a child. In addition, employing methods of discipline that involve isolation, using of food as punishment or reward, or denying the basic needs. This activity, or this, is all unacceptable. This is nothing of our methods of how to do positive reinforcement. What we've taught, this is not our philosophy, and so this is absolutely something that we truly want to always want to avoid. Heidi did such a great job in talking on this. So did Mary. I just want you all to understand, we mean so much to the children. We mean so much to the families that we're working with. We have to understand that we need to be the bigger outcome. We need to remember that we always have to be effective and professional. And Heidi did such a great thing. I think she used a personal story. I think I went into a personal story as well too with my son, that I can't recall too much on the personal story that Heidi was saying, but it was going to a point where we don't know what someone's going through, and we should be there to help and support. And that family, that child, may really truly need that support, and they might not be getting any support anywhere else, and they really are in need of support. And so, by being the best teacher, by being the best advocate for the family, we're doing so much for that family and child. Number 25 is bind or tie a child to restrict movement, taping a child's mouth, using physical activity or outdoor time as a reward or punishment. This is absolutely a violation. This is something that we do not ever want to see. This is not appropriate at any time. We need to remember the safety of the child is always important, and the safety of our staff and the families are very important as well. And we must respect the family and the child and ourselves. Use of any form or verbal abuse, including profane or sarcastic language, threats, and derogative comments about a child or family. The next are my own words. Do not speak negative or derogative about a child or a family. Remember, they are the client. They are our customer. We must have excellent customer service, and we must remember to be professional at all times. Portray WICAP in a positive image. We really want to make sure that we understand that if we don't see the family around, we don't want to speak ill about the family. We don't want to speak ill about anyone. Remember, it could always come back to someone. And so what I want to remind everyone, just remember, be respectful, be professional. This is your job. This is a career. You are a professional. You have a lot of responsibility in the position that you're in. Please, no derogative language towards a child, towards a family, towards a staff, even if they're not present. Number 27, driving offenses. Any employee with a conviction of a DUI and/or driving infraction or offense is required to notify the Human Resource Director immediately. Driving offense violations are defined as the Department of Transportation of driving infractions, offenses. I'm so sorry, I lost my place. Driving offense violations are defined as Department of Transportation driving infractions / offenses. Reporting at the time of the infraction or driving offense is required for the protection of the agency. Certain charges may require suspension and unpaid suspension until an outcome is determined. My own words on this, please remember, if this happens, please report it. Please report it to the HR department. We do need to be aware of any violations of driving offenses. We say this because it could affect our insurance. It could affect the standards of how you're insured with the company as well too. So we need to just make sure, especially if you're driving for the company and you're receiving driving offenses, we need to be aware of the violations. And the reporting individuals that you'd report to would be the HR team. This last unacceptable, it's number 28. It's really not an unacceptable activity. It's just it's like a statement. It's like a closing statement. It says, violation of these standards are subject to prompt disciplinary action up to and including suspension, termination, and or legal action as appropriate. And then there's the acknowledgement below, verifying that you have read and received a copy of this policy and that I understand that failure to adhere to this policy may be cause for disciplinary action up to and including termination. And then it says print name and employee signature. That was our training on the standard of conduct. The training was 32 minutes, or it has been 32 minutes, roughly an hour, half an hour. The previous one we did have an hour. And so it was an open discussion at times. It was a very good training. I'm so sorry if this didn't turn out as strongly as the other one was. But I hope you did learn something. And if you needed more clarification, I hope you understand that. Please email us. It is very important for you all to understand this policy. This policy for new staff, I talked to them about. If you know your don'ts, this is the one that you want to know about. Don't do this, don't do these violations. The respectful workplace policy is another one that talks about what's not acceptable. So if you know your do's and your don'ts, I think it'll help you steer away from the direction of not getting in trouble, of not doing any violations. So it is important for you to understand. Earlier I was saying that we are professionals. It is our career. We have a lot of responsibility in our positions, and so we should always remember portray ourselves as a positive image to the community, to our teammates, to the children that we serve, and to the families that we serve. One thing I wanted to tell you all is that with this policy that was sent to you in an email, please acknowledge that you have read through it. If my understanding did not come out strong, or you didn't understand what I was reading to you, please reread them on your own and confirm that you've read them and that you do understand them. And if you don't understand them, reach out to your supervisor, reach out to me, or reach out to Katrina Vincent or even Heidi Caldwell for clarification. We will be there to assist you. One thing that I also need you all to remember is that supervisors are the individuals that are doing the training logs. And so they need to make sure that your signature is on that training log. So if they've already submitted training logs to me or to another part of HR, I just need to make sure that you document that you attended a training. So you can print out that training log, sign it. So you would print your name and then sign, and you would put that the training took roughly around half an hour. I think that is it. There was guidance. There was 2 emails that were sent out. One was talking about how we're going to do Google Meets, and this training was going to happen on Friday. That Google Meet didn't happen. We ended up going through Ring Central. Unfortunately, when we were on Ring Central, we weren't able to record the live stream. And then I don't know if I already talked to you all about this earlier, but then our recording on our phone didn't also work either. So I had to recreate it right now. So I do apologize for the quality of the film or of this training. The other thing was another email came out talking to you about directions about if people would miss the training, another training would come up. This is the training that I'm talking about for individuals who had missed it on January 15th of 2021. Again, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. If you need clarification on anything, reach out to your supervisor, reach out to HR, or reach out to the department director. We want to do our best attempt to help you with the standard of conduct. I think this is such a good topic to review yearly because it really lets us understand. Don't forget, these are unacceptable activities. Remember, treat others the way you'd want to be treated. Remember, we're positive. We're a positive company. We want to portray ourselves in a positive manner, and so we want to portray positive and professional image at all times. I think that is it. If you have questions, please reach out to me, and I thank you for your time. Goodbye.